Welcome to the next lecture on the course Descriptive Statistics with R software. You may recall that in the earlier lecture we had a discussion on computing the quantiles, which are the partitioning value, and they help us in determining the central tendency of the data. So, we will continue on the same topic, that what are the different other tools to measure the central tendency of the data. And in this lecture we are going to address three more tools, that is mode, geometric mean and harmonic mean. So, let us try to start our discussion with mode. So, what is here a mode? You might have encountered in your day-to-day life that if you go to a shop of the shirt or shop of for the clothings, then whenever you want a size of your shirt, that is usually available. How it happens? Suppose you are the shopkeeper and you want to open a shop for the clothings, and suppose you want to sell shirts. So, each of the size of the shirt is not that much in demand. So, you want to know which is the most popular size of the shirts that you should keep in your shop in more quantity. So, in this case what you would like to do, say you will take a sample of the data, you will ask people what is the size of the shirt, and then you will see that whatever size of the shirt has more frequency, that you would try to keep more, and the size of the shirt which has a smaller frequency, you would try to keep say smaller number of shirts. So, this is basically done with the help of mode. So, suppose if a fruit juice shop owner wants to know which of the fruit juice is more preferred, and similarly as I said, a clothing shop owner wants to know that size of the which of the shirt or say trouser is more in demand or say highest in demand, and so on. So, here in such cases the concept of mode is used. So, the mode of say n number of observation, say x1, x2, xn is the value which occurs the most compared with all other values. So, essentially the mode is the value which occurs most frequently in the set of observation. How this frequently word is coming into picture? That is coming because of the frequency distribution or the frequency of the values. So, the definition of the mode will be interconnected with the frequency of those observation or the frequency distribution of those observations. One advantage of mode is that mode is not at all affected by the extreme observations. For example, if I say I have a data set here 1, 1, 1 and say here 3, 4 and 6. So, you can see here that number 1 is occurring here 3 times, 3 is occurring 1 time, 4 is occurring 1 time and 6 is occurring 1 time. So, the maximum number of value which is occurring here, this is here 1. So, the mode here is going to be 1. Now, in case if I try to add here a value 500, mode is not going to be changed, because that is also appearing for the 1 time only. So, that is the basic idea, that mode is not at all affected by the extreme observations. And in case if you try to plot the frequency curve, and suppose I have these two types of frequency curve, one is going to give like this and say another is going to give like this. So, you can see here that here is only one mode, but here you can see here, although the mode here is only 1, but still there are 2 peaks. So, we call such distribution as a bimodal, and in first case they are called as unimodal. So, all the distribution having only one mode, they are called unimodal, and all those distribution which have 2 modes, this is called as bimodal. So, now we try to define the mode for 2 cases, when we have group data and when we have ungrouped data. Here I would try to inform you that in the R software and in the base package of R software, there is no direct command to find out the mode. Well, there is a command mode, MODE, but be careful, that mode is not used to find out the mode that we are trying to find as a measure of central tendency. that command is used to describe the behavior of the data. That means the data is whether numeric or not, something like this. So please be careful. Although I will try to show you here that by writing some special functions or say some special commands, we can find out the mode. But you cannot use the function MODE or the command MODE, which is built in inside the R software. So be careful. Okay. So first we try to discuss the mode for ungrouped data. So for the ungrouped data or for the discrete variables, mode is very simple. The mode of a variable is the value of the variable which has got the highest frequency. And obviously this is true in the case of unimodal distribution. So what you have to do here, you will have here the say x1 data with frequency f1, x2 data with frequency f2 and so on, xn data with frequency fn. And you simply have to first choose that whichever is the maximum value. Suppose this maximum value occurs as say fm. Then corresponding to fm, whatever is the value of here xm, that is going to be the mode. So obviously this is true when we have a unimodal distribution where there is only one mode. So in order to find out this mode in the R software, we will go like this. If you try to understand, I am simply going to write here two steps, and they are simply trying to copy the same thing what I had just told you, that you try to create a frequency distribution, try to choose the maximum value of the frequency, and corresponding to the maximum value of the frequency try to choose the value of x, and that is going to give you the value of here mode. So when we try to compute this mode in R software, I am giving you here two steps, step 1 and step 2. The step 1 is very simple. Whatever is your data, try to create a table of that data vector, or that can be a matrix also. How that will be useful? Because I will try to show you. So whatever is your data, either in the form of a vector or a matrix, try to convert it into a table. So I will try to store my data inside a variable named data data, and whatever is the outcome of the table of this data, this I am going to indicate as mode tab. Yeah, that is the short form of mode of table data. So in order to use this thing, I will use here a command table that we had used earlier, and inside the arguments I will try to write here as dot vector, as dot vector. That means you try to create or you try to consider that the data as vector, and this data which has to be considered as vector, this is given here inside the variable name data. So I will show you later on, but here I can tell you that whatever is the outcome of this command, the first row of this command will be a sorted list of all the unique values in the data vector data. Now after this you have to operate here one more command. This command I am writing here, this is here names, then inside the arguments you have to write the data that you have obtained in the first step. This data is called as mode tab. Then inside the square brackets, remember these are the square brackets here. Inside this bracket you have to write mode tab, or the data what you have obtained in the step 1 is double equal to. What is this two equality sign? This is a sign of a logical operator for equality. So that is a sign for logical equal sign. For example, we have less than sign, greater than sign, and equality sign, but equality sign means equal to, but the logical equal sign is denoted by two equality signs. And then I am trying to find out the maximum value of the data which is inside the mode tab. Here I would just like to inform you that here I have used the commands here names of mode tab, and this function which is generally taught when you try to learn the R software logical operators and how to find or extract the names from a data. and so on. But here I would not going into those details, but I would simply request you please try to use this command. So, now suppose I simply try to take an example here and try to show you that how these things are happening. So, I am simply trying to take a data which is here like this inside the data vector, and from there I am trying to create the table of this data using the same command, and here is the outcome you can see here. So, you can see here that here are in the data vector the values are 10, 10, 10, 10, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, essentially when we try to create the frequency table, so it is trying to show you in the first row these are the sorted values of all the unique values in data. You can see here that the unique value here are 2, then here 3, then here 4, then here 5, then here 6, and this value is repeated again and again 4 times, that is 10. And now in the second row, this is trying to count that how many times a value is occurring. For example, if you try to see here 2 is occurring 2 times, 1, 2. So, this is here 2. 3 is occurring here only 1 time. So, this is here 1. 4 is occurring here only 1 time. So, this is here 1. 5 is occurring here say 1 time. So, this is here 1. Now, and then 6 is occurring here say 1 time, this is here 1. And now 10 is occurring here 1, 2, 3 and here 4 time. So, this is here 4 and this is here the 10. So, what essentially I need to do? In order to find out the mode, I simply have to extract the values from this frequency first. So, the frequency maximum frequency is at 4, this here, and then in the second step I have to find out the value corresponding to this maximum frequency which is here 10. So, this command here which is here at the second steps, this tries to extract this value 10 from the first row, and this gives me here 10. So, this is how you can compute the mode, but definitely I would like to address here, this is not the only way out. You can define it in own way using your own logic also, right. And this is here the screenshot, and I would request you that you please try to execute it on your data also. So, for example, I can show you it on the R console, but you please unless and until you do it with your own hand on the R console, you may not really understand it. So, I have got here a data you can see here, and with this data I am trying to get the value here mode tab. So, you can see here this is here mode tab, and now after this mode tab I am using the command in the step 2 to get the value of the mode. This is here 10, right. Now, I will try to show you another aspect. As I told you that this command which I just introduced, that can be used on a data vector or a data matrix. So, suppose I have a data in the form of a matrix, and we had learned how to write the data inside the matrix. So, there is a 3 by 3 matrix and the data values are given inside this data vector. The values are 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So, this matrix will look like this. When I say I would like to find out the mode of this matrix, essentially I am trying to say that I need the mode of first column, second column and third column. So, in the first column you can see here the value 2 is occurring 2 times. So, here the mode should be equal to 2. In the second column the value 3 is occurring 2 times. So, here the mode should be equal to 3, and in the third column the value 6 is occurring 2 times. So, here the mode should be equal to 6. So, this is what I mean when I try to repeat the same command on this data matrix, right. So, I try to do the same thing. I have to simply copy and paste the same thing. So, you can see here I am using the same command, but now it is giving me here this type of value, and then I am trying to use here the command in the second step, and it is giving me an outcome here 236. So, you can see here this 236 is the same what you had obtained manually here 2, 3 and here 6. So, my idea was simply to inform you that this data can be a data vector or a data matrix, and here is the screenshot of the same operation that we have done. And now, we come on the aspect that how to compute the mode for the grouped data or the data when is on continuous variable. So, in the case of continuous variable, the mode of the data is the value of the variable with the highest frequency density corresponding to the ideal distribution. What is an ideal distribution? Which would be obtained if the total frequency were increased indefinitely, that means they are becoming very, very large, and if at the same time the width of the class intervals were decreased indefinitely. Now, you may recall that we had a discussion on histogram and frequency curve. What we had seen that frequency curve or the frequency density or density plots, they are more useful when you have large number of data, and in that case the bins of the histograms are reduced and they are made as small as possible, and the number of data points are made as large as possible. So, this is the same thing which is trying to say. So, under that thing, in case if you are trying to make here a frequency curve like this, the bins are going to be very, very small and so on, and then you will get here this type of frequency curve. So, this is the highest value of the frequency around which you will get the value of the mode. Now, in order to compute the mode for this group data, the first step is to create a frequency table, and in this frequency table we just need three things. One is the class intervals, second is the midpoint of the class intervals, and the third is here the absolute frequency. One thing what you have to notice here that in this case I am trying to use the symbol f to denote the absolute frequency. And earlier in some of the lectures I have used the symbol f to denote the relative frequency, but I am just trying to keep the standard symbols so that you do not face any problem once you try to read from the books. So, here if you try to see, I have created different class intervals. Now, I am simply trying to find out the midpoint of this class interval, say m1, m2, mk, and they are obtained simply by finding out the value of lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. And corresponding to the first class I have frequency f1, corresponding to second class I have frequency f2, and corresponding to the kth class I have frequency fk. Now, what we have to do? We simply have to find out the maximum value among these frequencies, and whatever is the maximum value, say here fm, I have to identify wherever this fm is lying, corresponding to which I have to find out the value of here m, and that will give me the, based on that I will try to compute the value of the mode. So, the class where this maximum frequency is occurring, this is class as modal class. In order to compute the mode for the group data, the expression is given by like this. Well, this is based on certain computation, certain derivation, but I am not going into that detail. So, here this value here EL is the lower limit of the modal class, and this DL it is the class width, and f0 here is the frequency of the modal class, and by this f and inside the subscript it is -1, this is denoting the frequency of the class just below the modal class, and this frequency here f1, this is just indicating the frequency of the class just after the modal class. So, for example, if I have here modal class here, say here am, and then I have here 1, say here class, say here 1, and this here is class 2, then this is going to, the frequency of this am is going to be f0, this is going to be f -1, and after this is going to be f1. So, now based on that we will try to compute the mode. Now, we consider an example, and I will try to show you that how you are going to compute this data, the mode based on this data. So, this is again here the same example that we considered earlier, that the time can by a customer to arrive in a shop inside a mall on different days is recorded, and there are 31 days. So, there are 31 values here on the number of minutes that the customer takes. Now, we try to convert or we try to prepare the frequency table. So, you can see here I have made here 5 classes, 5 class intervals, and I have computed their midpoint. For example, in this case the midpoint is computed as 15 plus 20 divided by 2 is equal to 17.5, and its frequency is here 0, and similarly other midpoints have been calculated and their corresponding frequencies have been calculated. Now, in this case, out of these frequency f3 equal to 18, this is the maximum frequency which is occurring. So, the modal class is going to be the class corresponding to which we have the maximum frequency. So, here this 25 to 30 is going to be the modal class. So, I can take here that L is equal to 3, which is 25 to 30, this interval, this is the modal class. Now, based on that I will try to see here, for example, here you can see the frequency of the modal class is something like what we had denoted as f0, this is 18, and the frequency just before the modal class, which is here f minus 1 as per our notation is 12, and the frequency just after the modal class, which is here denoted as f1, this is equal to here 1. So, substituting these values we will try to find out the value of the mode from the given expression. So, you can see here that AL is the lower limit of the modal class, which is 25, the width of the class is 5, and these are the frequencies, modal class frequencies f0, the frequency of the class just before the modal class as 12, and frequency of the class just after the modal class as 1. And if you try to substitute all these values over here, you get here the value 31.52. Now, I would like to address here one thing first. Inside R, there is no built-in function to compute the mode of the grouped data, what we have just obtained through formula. Well, you can write a small function or a small program to compute it, but definitely I am not going to consider that idea over here. And now, I will try to address 2 more tools, geometric mean and harmonic mean, which are also 2 different measures to find out the central tendency of the data. So, first I try to address geometric mean. Geometric mean is useful in calculating the average value of ratios or rates of interest in say banking and in finance sector and so on. And this geometric mean is not really applicable when any of the observation is 0. Why? This is going to be clear from the definition of the geometric mean. So, one condition in geometric mean is that all the observations should be positive. So, let x1, x2, xn be the n observation which are all greater than 0. Now, these observations can be on a discrete variable or an ungrouped variable data set, or they can be data on continuous variable and may create a grouped data. So, when these observations are ungrouped, then in this case the geometric mean is defined by here x bar g, something like this. So, what we are trying to do here, we are simply trying to take all the observation x1, x2, xn, we are trying to multiply it, and then I am trying to find out the nth root by taking the power to be here 1 upon n. And similarly, in case if you have the grouped data in which every xi has frequency, see here fi, then in this case the geometric mean is defined by x1 raised to the power of f1, x2 raised to the power of f2, xn raised to the power of fn, and all these values have to be multiplied. So, this is the product of xi f raised to the power of fi, and here the power here is 1 upon capital N, n is the sum of all the frequencies. So, now in case if you want to find out the geometric mean in the R software, once again there is no direct command, but writing down this command is very simple. If you remember, in the initial lectures we have discussed different types of built-in functions, and using those built-in functions we can create the command for the geometric mean. So, if you see here, I have created this command here, but there are different ways to construct it. So, suppose if I try to denote the data vector here as say x, then if you try to see what are we going to do in the case of ungrouped data, first I am trying to find out the product of all the observation, and then I am trying to take the power 1 upon here n. So, this product can be stored or can be defined by product of x, where x is containing all this data. And then for this power I am using here hat, and then this here n here is the number of observations in x. So, this can be determined by length of x. So, this power can be written as hat and inside the bracket 1 upon length of x. So, this is pretty simple. And similarly, in case if you have a group data where you are trying to say that the data vector has something like values x1, x2, xn with frequencies f1, f2, fn, such that the x1 has frequency f1, x2 has frequency x2 and xn has frequency fn. So, I can write the data vector and the frequency inside a vector. So, the data is written inside the data vector x and all the frequencies have been written inside the vector here f. Right, and finding out these frequencies is not difficult. Just by creating a frequency table and extracting the frequencies as we have done it earlier, one can obtain it. So, now whatever is the product, something like x1 raised to the power of f1 multiplied by x2 raised to the power of here f2 and so on multiplied by xn raised to the power of here fn, this can be written by product of x raised to the power here f. And then it is here 1 upon n, capital N is going to be the sum of all fi's. So, sum of all fi's, this can be determined by the function sum of f, and so writing it here like this, you will get the value of the geometric mean in this case. So, you can see here that just by using the built-in functions in R, you can find out the geometric mean. So, now in case if I try to take an example, the same example in which I have considered the data on minutes. So, this data is here contained here like this, and if you want to find out the geometric mean considering this data as a discrete data, you simply have to use this expression, and you can see here this is the value of the geometric mean, and this is here the screenshot. And considering this data as a group data, we can find out this frequency table that we already have discussed, and based on that I have this data here, that is the same data. And now first I need to extract the frequencies. How it can be done? You may recall that in the earlier lecture in the case of median, I had shown you that how to find out the or how to extract the frequencies from a group data. So, I am not going to explain it here again, but I will simply be using the same command that I had used in the case of median. And if you have forgotten, I would request you, please try to go to the lecture on the median and try to see that how these values like as breaks, cut, commands were used to extract the data. So, now using the earlier explained method, I will try to construct here a data vector breaks, which is a sequence of 15 to 40 at an interval of 5, because our class intervals are starting from 15 and going up to 40, and they are of the width 5. So, this the data comes out to be as 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and then I have to operate the command here cut on the given data vector minutes using here the breaks, and right intervals are going to be open. So, this is right equal to false, and once you try to do it, I will get here the this type of data. So, you can see here these are the class intervals that we have obtained. Now, I have to find out the frequencies of this minutes dot cut data. So, in order to find out the frequencies, I will simply operate here the command table, and inside the arguments the data, that is minutes dot cut, and it will give me the frequency table. So, these are the first row is indicating the class interval, and the second row is denoting the frequencies. Now, how to extract this frequency vector? For that we have used the command as numeric and I try to store these values here in this f. So, as mnemonic on the data provided by table minutes.cut, and this comes out to be like this here. So, now I have obtained here the vector f, and now I have to collect all the midpoints, and I have to create the vector here x. So, I am trying to collect all the midpoints 17.5, 22.5 and so on, and now I have here two vectors x and here f, and based on that I can use this function which we have just evolved to compute the geometric mean. And here if you try to see, I have given here the screenshot, but I would request that you please simply try to copy these commands, paste into your R console and try to see whether you are getting the same outcome or not. Okay. And this is the same outcome which you will be getting here. Now, after this I will come to the last topic on the measure of central tendency, that is harmonic mean. So, harmonic mean is also defined for group data and say ungrouped data. For a discrete data, the harmonic mean is defined here as say here x bar h, which is equal to 1 upon n and summation 1 over xi. So, doesn't it look like as if I am trying to find out the mean of the inverse of the observations, and then I am trying to take it here once again the inverse. And the same definition is for the continuous data, for the group data, and the expression for finding out the harmonic mean is like here this. But here you have to see here that xi has frequency fi, same terminology that we have used in the case of geometric mean in the grouped data case. So, now in case if you want to compute the harmonic mean in the R software, once again I would like to inform you that there is no built-in command inside the base package of R, but writing down a small command to compute the harmonic mean is not difficult. Just by using the built-in function and by looking at the structure how the mean has been defined, one can easily do it, right. So, if you try to see here, the command which I am writing here is for this quantity 1 upon n summation here I goes from here 1 to n 1 upon xi. So, you can see here, if I try to denote here 1 upon xi to be here something like here yi, then this quantity becomes 1 upon say 1 upon n summation here n yi, and which is nothing but your here 1 upon mean of here y. So, this can be written here simply here 1 upon mean, see here 1 upon here x vector in your R software. So, that is the same thing which I am writing here, that if your x is a data vector, then the harmonic mean in case of discrete data is defined as 1 upon mean of 1 by x. And similarly, in case if you have a continuous data in the group format, where x1, x2, xn are the values which are occurring with the frequencies f1, f2, fn respectively, then the harmonic mean once again can be defined by the 1 upon mean of f upon x, because if you try to see, you are simply trying to compute the average of this fi xi. So, for that fi of xi, this is written here as a f divided by x in the R symbol, and then I am simply trying to find out here the mean of this, and then I am trying to invert it. So, now if I try to take the same example that we considered earlier of the minutes. So, this is here the data which I am stored in the variable minutes, and if you simply try to execute this data upon this command to compute the harmonic mean that we just discussed, you will get this value over here, which is not difficult at all now. And now, if you try to consider this data as a continuous data, then in that case you need to obtain two things. One is the frequency vector f, and say another is the vector x of the midpoints of the class interval. So, now if you try to see in the earlier case of geometric mean, we already have obtained the frequency vector here like this. So, you simply have to copy those steps over here, you simply have to follow the same steps, and you will obtain here the frequency vector here as say f like this.
and for the x, these are the mid values of the class interval, which you have to find manually, and that we also did earlier. So, now if you try to use these values in the expression that we developed for finding out the harmonic mean in case of continuous data, then this value will come out to be like this, 26.87753. Right. So, you can see that it is not very difficult to obtain all the things, and in case if you try to do all those things in the ARC software also, then this is the screenshot, and you can see here this is exactly what you are getting here, the value of harmonic mean in case of continuous data, and then before that you have got all the values like as f vector will come out to be here like this, and so on.
Now, I would like to stop here in this lecture, and I will also like to stop on the topics of measures of central tendencies. So, we have discussed in this chapter different types of tool: arithmetic mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean, median, mode for the group data, for the ungrouped data, and as far as possible, wherever available, I have explained you how to compute it in the R software. So, once again I would request you that you take different types of data set, and on the same data sets you can compute each and everything, this quantiles, mean, median, mode, harmonic mean, geometric mean. Try to convert the same data into group data as well as ungrouped data. Try to operate the things and try to see how much difference you are getting, and try to think why this difference is coming. That you will get from the theory of statistics. So, you practice it, and we will see you in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye.